Stem and leaf diagrams. Below are the distances in kilometers, 3.6, 1.2, etc. And part A, we have to plot the data on a stem and leaf diagram. So stem and leaf diagram, we're going to do in 2 steps. Draw a line down the side here, and this will create our stem, and then outwards from that we will have a leaf. To create the stem, we need to look at the numbers and see what's the smallest value and what's the biggest value to help us choose our stem. So the smallest value I can see is 1 point something, 1.2, 1.5 is quite low, and the highest is 5.2. Don't think there's anything higher than 5. So I'm going to create a stem that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then what I'm going to do is take each value and cross it out and put it into the diagram. So 3.6 will go in the 3, where the 3 is, and create a row here. We'll put a 6 to the side. Then 1.2, we go down to where the 1 is, and then we can put a 2 beside it. For 3.0, we go to where the 3 is. There's already a 6 there, but we're going to put a 0 beside that. Then 1.9, put a 9 beside the 2. So that's, and here we can see there's a 1.2, there's also a 1.9. Then we've got 5.2, goes in the 5 row, 2.3 in the 2 row, 3.2, then 4.3, 1.8, 4.7, 2.4, 3.6, 1.8, 2.5, 1.5, 2.3, 2.5, 2.7, 2.8, and 4.1. If you cross them off as you go along, it means that you won't miss any or do any twice by mistake. Now that would get us 1 mark if this was a test. The mark is for getting the points into the correct rows. The second mark will be to redraw that out, but reorder it. So making sure these values are from smallest to biggest. At the minute they're all higgledy-piggledy. Some people may try and do this all in one step and not do the first diagram and go straight to the second diagram. And sometimes you can get away with that, but you're creating an opportunity to make a mistake, and I don't think it's worth the risk. You're not going to be rushed in your exam. You've got plenty of time, so I would recommend doing it in 2 steps. Usually the only reason why people lose marks in this is because they've rushed and made a mistake. So I'm simply reordering here. What else I'm doing is I'm making sure that when I write these values, they're in the same rows, same columns. So there's 5 values here and 5 values here. They go out the same distance. What you wouldn't want is these 5 values stretching out further than these 5 values. It means you know there's the same amount of values in each if you keep it all nicely aligned and spaced out. So where did I get to? 5, 3, 3, 4, 2 5s, 7 and an 8. 7 and an 8. 0, 2, 6, 6, 1, 3, 7, and a 2. That would get you 2 marks. Quite often this question would be worth 3 marks, and the third mark would be to explain what on earth is this, what's it telling you. If someone saw that, how on earth would they read these values? So let's take this 5/2, 5 with a line and a 2. What does that represent, or what does that mean? Well, the 5.2 was here, and it was 5.2 kilometers. So 5.2 kilometers. Sometimes it could mean 52, but in this context, because these are decimals, it means 5.2. And the key will tell you how to read the values, so it is very important that you have a key. I'll even put the word there beside it. We're now going to answer some questions based on the stem and leaf diagram. We have to find the median of the data. So the median is the middle value, and in this question there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Double, there's 20 values. So the middle one, there's a formula that you can learn, and when you add 1 and divide by 2, and that tells you where the middle value is. So if you add 1 and divide by 2, you get 10.5, which means 10.5th value is going to be the middle, the median. Now, because this is a stem leaf diagram and we can see all the data and there's not too many, we don't need to go into that much depth. You can find the middle value by going from the smallest to the biggest and working your way into the middle. So the smallest value was 1.2 and the biggest value is 5.2. So if we cross those off, then we've only got the middle somewhere between the rest of them. Then the next biggest value would be, from the smallest is 1.5, and the biggest value from the top would be 4.7. And the next smallest value is 1.8, and the biggest value left is 4.3. 1.8, 4.1. 1.9, now the biggest value left is 3.6. So by doing that, now we know the middle is somewhere in between here, and we're just working our way into the middle. So then we've got 2.3, 3.6, 2.3, 3.2, 2.4, 3.0, 2.5, 2.8, and we're left with 2 values in the middle. So the median would be in between those two. So if 2.5 and 2.7 are the middle values, then we would say 2.6 would be the middle value, halfway between 2.5 and 2.7. Now when you do that, don't absolutely obliterate your diagram, because you need to still be able to read the values. So be careful when you cross them out. Part C is find the mode of the data. So we're looking for the most common value, so the values that repeats themselves, and we've got here the 6 happens twice, the 3 happens twice, and the 8 happens twice. There's no value that appears 3 times, so we'd have actually 3 modes. And when we say 6, it's not actually 6, it's 3.6. And it's 2.3. And it's 1.8. So they're the most common values that appear. There's 3 of them. Part D now is to find the range of the data. The range is the biggest value minus the smallest value. And because you've ordered it, that's really easy. We've got this number here is the smallest, and this one is, this is the biggest, and this is the smallest. So the range is the biggest, 5.2, minus the smallest, 1.2, and the range isn't that's the method to get the range. The range actually is the subtraction, which is 4. On to part E. If another distance is measured to be 2.1, complete the following sentences. So imagine we had the original data and we add an extra 2.1 onto it. How will that affect things? We want to know how it will change the median, the mode, and the range. So I've got to the side the stem and leaf diagram again, and we want to stick in a 2.1. Now, it's not going to look great, but just going to imagine that 2.1's in there as well. How will that change the median? Well, actually, that's the hardest one. Let's just go with the mode first of all. The mode's not going to change because it only would be 2.1. So the most common are still 3.6, 2.3, and 1.8. So as I said, the mode will not change, so will not change. The range is also easy enough. By putting in that 2.1 there, the biggest number is still 5.2, the smallest is still 1.2, so the range doesn't change. So the range will not change, or you could say it stays the same. Now what happens to the median? Just by brute force, I'm going to show you what happens, and I'm going to go a bit quicker. So let's take the 5 smallest values and the 5 largest values, and then take another 5 of the smallest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 5 largest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're left with 5 being the middle value this time, and it was between 5 and 7 before. So the median was 2.6 and now it's 2.5. By introducing a number that is smaller than the original median, you're decreasing the median. So the median will decrease. Here in question 10 we have another stem and leaf diagram. A class completed a test. The boys' results is represented in the stem and leaf diagram, and there it is below. Below is the results for the girls here. Use the girls' results to complete a back-to-back stem and leaf diagram. So the boys, here's its stem and the leaf goes out to the right hand side, and what we can do is put a line here and put the girls on the other side. But the boys was going from left to right as you read it. Just there's your starting and you're going to the right. The girl is going to be starting at the right hand side and moving left, so you're going to have to read everything back to front, so to speak. I'm going to try and do this in one go. I did recommend in the last question to do it in 2 parts, but because the boys one's already here, I'm going to be doing it in one go, and I need to be extra careful. What does make it easier for me to do that, and why I'm saying do as I say, not as I do, is because this one here is actually ordered, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get the girls in correctly first time. So 64, 66, 69, 71, 74, 77, 78, 80, 82 and 84, 85 and 89, and 92. So notice there when I was entering them, I was entering from the right hand side and then moving leftward. So you're reading from the middle towards the left for the girls, but for the boys it's the opposite. So this 96 for the boys means 96, but you need a key for the girls as well, because if you read this here, that's not 29, that's actually 92. You're reading from back to front. So you can see why a key is important. Okay, so 2/9 means 92%. And let's answer some questions from that. Find the median for each set of data. So we just cross them off as we go along from smallest to biggest. We'll do the boys first. The smallest number is 60, biggest number is 96, the next smallest is 61, and the next biggest is 87. 63 and 80, 63 and 79, 68 and 76, and we're left with 2 in the middle. So the median is halfway between those two. So halfway between 72 and 73 is 72.5 for the boys. What about the girls? So the smallest and the biggest, smallest and the biggest, smallest and the biggest. Be careful always to go from the right end. I'm going quite quick here, but you take your time to make sure you're going the right end. Smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, and biggest. Okay, a bit easier there. We've got one number, so that is your median. 68. Part C, we have to find the mode for each set of data, so that's the most common value. For the boys, there is only one number that appears twice, which is 63. So for the boys, we've got 63. For the girls, there's no value I can see that repeats, so there's no mode. You can check up here in case I'd made a mistake, but there is no value repeating. Part D is to find the range. So for the boys and the girls, that's the biggest minus the smallest. So for the boys, the biggest was 96 and the smallest was 60. So there's a range of 90 minus 60, which is 36. For the girls, the biggest is 92 and the smallest is 64. So their range is 28. Then in part E, we have to compare both sets of data. And to do that, when you're comparing data, you can see lots of things maybe in the diagram, but they're really looking to know two main points to be made. The points to be made are about the average and the spread. So the average would mean talking about the median or the mode. The mode's not that useful in this question, to be honest, especially because there's no mode for the girls. So when they ask you to compare sets of data, talk about the median, that's an average, and talk about the range, that tells you about how spread out the data is. So the boys have a higher median. What's that mean in the context? What's the question about? It's about a test score. So that would mean they've done better. The boys have a higher median, suggesting boys performed better than girls. And so that tells me about the average. I want to say how spread out is the two sets of data. That's where you look at the range. Okay, so we'd say the boys have a larger range suggesting their results are more, you could say, spread out, would be simple language. Be more mathematical would be to use the word variable. That's another good one. Their results are more variable. Or another word we could say is they are less consistent. You can flip that all on its head and say that girls have a lower median than boys, suggesting they performed worse than boys. You could say the girls have a smaller range, and that would suggest that their results are less spread out, less variable, or more consistent.